Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's Lent reflection. For this week's Lent reflection, we are looking at the theme of active peace. We find ourselves in a time where Palm Sunday just passed. And Palm Sunday is the story of Jesus riding into Jerusalem on a donkey. And what's significant about this story is that it takes place during a festival. It's the festival of Passover, the biggest festival for the Jewish people. And this festival was an opportunity for the Jews in the time of Jesus to look back on the story of God's deliverance from Egypt. So they looked back on the time when God delivered their ancestors from the oppressive empire of Egypt. And what parallels so well is that as they looked back on this time, they were able to enter in so deeply because they were oppressed by the Roman Empire. And so it was not only an opportunity for them to reflect on God's deliverance of the past, but it was also a time for them to say, God, deliver us now. And oftentimes what happened is that this passion, this fervor for God to deliver would lead different groups and sects of Judaism to act out in violence towards the Roman government. So there would be different insurrectionists that would pop up and do violent acts towards the Roman Empire. And what was the Roman Empire's response? Well, every single Passover, they would have a processional of their own. They would bring in troops and reinforcements on ships, and then those reinforcements would get off the ships and proceed to Jerusalem, being led by the Roman governor. And it was a big showing. It was basically Rome flexing their muscles and saying, if you act out in violence, look at us. We will crush you. Our violence will be 10 times worse than the violence that you can afflict on us. And then we have Jesus, who shows up, and the processional on the west is coming in. It's the Roman government with all of their power. And then Jesus comes in with a donkey, an animal that was typically only ridden by females, by women. And people are putting palm branches down on the road, singing Hosanna. And this is the way of Jesus. It's the way of peace. It's the path of peace. It's so different than Rome. Active peace is not just an absence of chaos in our life. It is looking around at the world and saying, where is it wrong? And how can I make it right? How can I follow in the way of Jesus to push back against the oppression, the empire of our day, and to bring about peace and offer a new way of life? So let's all together now read through this prayer as a posture and reflection on Palm Sunday and the way of peace that Jesus invites us in. God, you showed us who you are in the incarnation, yourself as human, coming down to earth, enduring human suffering, becoming a servant. And despite your meekness, you offended the powers. You drew the wrath of religious and political establishments. You became their scapegoat. You endured mocking and scorn, a crown of thorns, brutal violence, and went to death with forgiveness on your lips. You, great heart, have shamed the powers that killed you, exposed violence, eschewed vengeance, and by acceptance, defeated death. In refusing to repay violence with violence, you showed us the path of peace. In forgiving your enemies and abusers, you demonstrated love the world had never seen. Hosanna! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Thank you so much for praying along with me. I hope that you have found these Lent reflections meaningful for you. I am excited to see you on Thursday night for our Stations of the Cross, and then on Friday for our Good Friday services. And then we have Easter Resurrection Sunday, where we can celebrate the rebirth that God gives us. So all the work that we have done through his grace during Lent becomes real and true in the resurrection. So grace and peace to you, and God bless you on your continued journey.